Happy capitalism season, Jason.
Happy capitalism season.
And also happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate, which is most of the United States.
Yeah, I guess that's important too.
Yeah. Canadians already did their Thanksgiving. They're done with it. So now it's time for our turn. And of course, the best part of Thanksgiving is Black Friday. So are you got your eye on anything, Jason?
I don't have, you know what? So I've been telling a lot of people this. I need to come up with like my own wish list, because there are, I'm a new homeowner. There's lots of things I want and need. So I got to come up with my own wish list. But from a games perspective, not anything specific.
Yeah, I'm kind of sort of in the same boat. I mean, I would say that there's probably one thing that's on my list that's never going to be on sale, which is the new Spider-Man game that just came out, because it's brand new, so it's not going on sale anywhere, even though I've looked everywhere. Yeah,
it's not going on sale.
But there is like a nice PS5 bundle where I think it's like the $500, like the same price as just the PS5 by itself, and you can get a PS5 disc edition with the Spider-Man game for the same $500, which is a good deal if you don't have a PS5. But I already have a PS5, so I don't need that.
I think I saw this at Costco. Is this the one at Costco, or is that a different deal?
Costco may have a different deal. They always kind of have their own thing where they kind of like bundle in a controller or something, like an extra controller and some other stuff. But I think this is just like the regular like Target, Best Buy, whatever bundle that you can just get. It's like the holiday season bundle. Like they always have that, like the Switch always has Mario Kart bundled together. Like just for the last like decade, they've had Mario Kart 8.
No, I didn't know that, but okay.
Oh yeah. Every single year.
It only comes out during the holidays? Is that like it's a holiday exclusive bundle?
I think the bundle,
like it's Christmas season when the Switch starts bundling with Mario Kart.
Yeah, they play that Mariah Carey song, and then the Switch starts coming with Mario Kart. That's how you know.
Okay.
But yeah, so they are finally to the point in the PS5's life cycle, I would say, where they are ready to start like doing bundles and like gift wraps or whatever, gift bundles and things like that. And deals basically with the PS5, because I would assume that everybody that was going to buy the console by itself has already bought the console at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I think there are a few people still out there that maybe, I mean, it's a good deal, right? It's like basically $60 off, like 10% off. $70. Oh yeah, I forgot games are expensive now.
Yeah.
It's it's like 15% off ish. That's decent.
Yeah. Have you started getting all of those like emails from just everybody like about, oh, it's time for Black Friday. Here comes our early Black Friday sale. It's like, it's not even the weekend yet and you're already doing Black Friday. Come on, guys.
Well, okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, I get it. They have kind of expanded the deal to, I mean, I've seen some places that were like, hey, we started Black Friday 2 weeks ago. And it goes through November 30th. And I was like, okay, that's I get that. The big thing about Black Friday used to be like that people ran out of stock of stuff.
Right.
And I just, that hasn't seemed to be as much of an issue. And obviously it's not an issue with digital games. So.
No. And you used to have to physically go to the store to get the thing. Like I remember, camping out with a friend of mine outside of a Staples to get a hard drive or something. Like we wanted to get a hard drive that was on a super good deal. And then also while we were there, of course, we were going to pick up some, writable DVDs because that was what you did back then. But we had to stand out in the cold, and I was dressed appropriately and my friend was wearing shorts, and he was quite chilly that cold morning in late November. In the Northeast.
I've only ever done that once, and that was good. I'm good.
I like to every 5 to 8 years, kind of just go for one thing. If I want one, like if there's a good deal I want, I'll be like, oh, this is okay. I could go do the experience. But it's so diminished these days. Like it used to be like they would set up Best Buy would set up little stanchions and queue things. Like you'd have the little fence around the stage at a concert. Like they would set those up outside the store, and the police would be there, and they would queue you around and give people numbers. It was a whole thing. I don't know if they still do that, but it's been a few years since I've actually been. The last I went to a Best Buy on Black Friday, and I got a bunch of Sonos speaker stuff.
I went to a Best Buy last year on Black Friday at 6:30 p.m. It wasn't like a door buster kind of thing, but like I was like, all right, well, just kind of. I guess why not? I'll just stroll around, see what they got. But I didn't actually end up buying anything. But I don't know. It's just going to the store. Not my thing. But I will say I have gotten those emails. I have seen those emails, and I think it's funny that my Steam. I don't know about you, but the one from Steam only showed me 3 of my games on my wish list were on sale. I think it just kind of stopped after that point.
Yeah, mine was. It said, Dave the Diver and 5 other games from your wish list are on sale. And I was like, oh, just 5? That's weird.
Yeah. So I did some quick math, and I think I know you did too, but I have 31 games on my wish list. It's gotten a little out of hand. I usually try to keep it pretty clean, but right now my Steam wish list is a little bloated. But there are 31 games on it, 7 of which are not out yet. So you just kind of take those out of the running, right? So really 24 purchasable games are on my Steam wish list. I scrolled through, scroll. Only 3 of them are not on sale.
Wow.
So I don't know if they're one of them's brand new. I did, maybe we'll talk about it during the show a little bit. Whatever. But, Jusant, that climbing game came out.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not on sale. It's got great reviews. It's wonderful. It literally just came out. I wouldn't expect it to be on sale, but like those are the things that aren't on sale are the ones that just came out. Anything that's older than like a month and a half is on sale.
I'm pretty sure that Jusant is on Game Pass, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you could try it there.
I should take it off my wish list.
Yeah, really. My stats for that are I have 49 games on my wish list, which is quite a few. You can tell that I don't prune my wish list ever, really. But I have 7 of those are no, not 7. You're 7. I'm 12. 12 of those are not out yet. So there are 37 available games on my wish list, and 7 of those are not on sale.
Do you have any notable standouts? The big one that I had is, do you remember when we used to talk about Entropy Center all the time?
Oh, yeah.
The one like new puzzle game? That's down to $10.
Ooh, yeah. I have that on my wish list and I see it's $10, and that is a great Steam Deck game, I think. I may have to look at that one. Yeah,
very, very Portal-like, very, that kind of realm. There's also Gunfire Reborn. We talked about this a couple times, and I think we learned off air. I don't think we were talking about it on the show, but it's not on Game Pass anymore. So that's it got pulled off of Game Pass in October. So that's another one that's on my list.
Yeah, that one I actually looked. So we're turning into a whole show here. We're not even started the show yet, but that one I looked at Humble Store. So Humble Bundle Store, like not the bundles, but like the individual game store, they are also doing a like Black Friday sale, basically.
Oh no,
that's active. Yeah, and if you're a Humble Choice subscriber, like
you get
both
20 more
you get another
off.
20% off. So Gunfire Reborn, which is $15 on Steam right now, is $12 on Humble. So yeah, they're really messing with my the Steam wallet balance that I have. It's like, well, I shouldn't really buy the stuff on Steam because it's cheaper over here, but I have like free money on Steam, but it's cheaper over here, and I'll use the free money on Steam to go buy Dota stuff or something. Like I something that's never going to be on sale. So like I should, optimize and buy the stuff from Humble because they give you Steam codes anyway. So it's just really who you're giving the money to. And then it still shows up on Steam.
That's messing with me. I mean, it violates the 2-hour rule. That's the problem with these sales is I'm so busy right now, Chris. I'm not in a state where I can play games right now. It is the busiest time of year for me and my work. So I don't have time. And I want to buy like 5 things, and it violates all of the 2-hour rules. And I can't, I'm trying so hard to stick to the rule.
Well, I am proud of you because there was a time, and I was the same way, where I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't know, buy $50 worth of stuff, which is like 10 games on this sale, and then I'd have these 10 games that I may or may not play over the next 6 months. But it makes more sense. Follow the 2-hour rule and just wait until you're going to play it. And then from there, you can say, I'm going to play that soon. I'm going to wait for a sale for it. And then you can kind of go the other way, right? Where you defer your playing of the game until it goes on sale. And then a second it's on sale, you say, okay, now is the time to buy it and play it. Or you just buy it when you want it.
You just buy it. That's my thing. It's like you save so much money by following the 2-hour rule that in the end, as long as you're very, very strict about it, even if you buy games at full price, it still ends up saving you money.
That's probably true.
It just pains me so much because I think you've talked about if this is a puzzle game, Quern,
Yep.
Undying Thoughts. You had recommended this to me. I put this on my wish list. It is normally $25. It is 75% off right now. Like, if I would have purchased this game for $25 and now seen that it's at $6.24, I would have been like, what? I feel so bad about this. So I don't know if you ever look, but I always go to istthereanydeal.com, I think, the site that tracks all of the game prices. So like even now that things are on sale, I will go see if this is the lowest price this game has ever been. And if it's not, I'm just like, I don't know, can I pay this? Can I pay not the lowest price for this game?
37 cents more than this game is right now?
Like, how much do I really want this game? Anyway, I have made no purchases yet, and I am going to try very hard to make it through the next couple of days making no purchases.
I have also made no purchases yet, but no promises.
Welcome to Pride and Accomplishment. My name is Jason.
And I'm Chris. This is episode 114. Jason, I did a thing, or I have done a thing, have been doing a thing.
You know, if I didn't have the show notes in front of me, the way you just said that, I would have thought that you resubscribed to Eve, because that's how tail between your legs you just sounded.
Oh yes, well I'm playing it up a little bit, but
it's not quite that bad.
It's not that bad, but we might talk about that a little later. Yeah. I have been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft because the new, because BlizzCon, for one, set the hype meter to 11. But then the new, like, Raid Wing and all of the stuff, kind of the capstone of Dragonflight, the third and final, I think, raid for Dragonflight has come out. The, oh gosh, I'm terrible with this. Something Emerald Dream, something. I don't know. You go to the New World Tree and there's a new kind of plant-themed raid. That's been happening.
Wasn't that the server we were on?
Yeah, Emerald Dream. Yep. It was.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yes, I have been playing a little bit. I logged in. I was like, ooh, this is fun. And then I kind of looked into it a little bit and I was like, ooh, do I have enough stuff? Can I like do a dungeon? Like, can I get into Mythic Plus? And so I started off with like a +2 and I got into a +2 and then I was like, okay, get a little more ambitious here. And I did a little +5 and then, did that. And then last week I got a +9 because the +5 group that I went through, we 3-keyed it. Maybe it was a 6. I don't know. But anyway, we did a +9. And then today, we're recording on Tuesday, I was able to open the vault and get an item that was like way better than all the stuff I had from the previous raid, which is great because the gear treadmill's back. And I don't know. I've been having a little bit of fun with it, playing super chill, nothing crazy, just hopping on every once in a while and doing a couple dungeons or doing some new story stuff or new, there's a new area with new mechanics and things. So it's been pretty fun.
Did you resub to do this or are you still riding out your previous sub?
I have like 12 days left on the 6-month sub that I had that renewed right before we stopped playing. So I'm like picking up the dregs of that experience, I guess, and using the last like 2 weeks of my sub.
Do you anticipate resubbing?
I knew you were going to ask this question.
Of course. I mean, this is where it all leads to, right?
I know. And I don't know that I have a strong answer yet. Based on the time of year and just based on like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm probably going to let it lapse. Like, I'm probably going to like let it go. And then essentially the first time that I'm like, I want to play some WoW, then once my subscription's inactive, I'll just, re-up it. At that point, I've not really decided if I'm going to re-up it as like a month-to-month or if I'll go with a 6-month, or maybe I'll like split the difference and go with a 3-month. Because I do like to get a little bit of a break on the the price there, but also it kind of backfired for me this past time. So
2-hour rule saves you money.
Yeah, but it's hard to do a 2-hour rule with a subscription. Like
month to month, it's not.
Well, yeah, I guess you get the subscription renewal email and you have to like decide within 2 hours if you're gonna keep it or not.
No, you just can't. You just do 1 month at a time. And if you're not gonna play in the next 2 hours, you just say, okay, well, I'm not gonna up it, and I'll up it when I get playing again. Like, it really, like, people get really in their head about subscription lapsing, but you can turn it back on whenever you want.
I know they make it very easy. I should figure that out. I should do the math and be like, it's 50 cents a day, and they give you a $1 or $2 break per month if you buy them in bulk. And it's like, if you can figure out such that you're unsubscribed for like 4 days a month, you actually come out the same.
Yeah.
Like on buying month to month at $15 a month as you would getting them for, $13 a month or whatever. Man, okay. This might need a spreadsheet.
I don't know that I'd play the game that tight, but like if you're not playing actively, cancel it. I've done this with gosh, I can't remember. Oh, I've done the God, what was the last subscription game I ever played? I don't remember. Other than WoW. I don't remember what I did this with, but it was basically like, maybe Eve. But it was one of those things where I was just like, I'm going to sub for 1 month, and if I'm still playing at the end of that month, if I'm still actively playing, I'll just resub again. And then at the end, as soon as I resubbed, I canceled, so it didn't like renew. And you just go month to month, and like one day you're going to log in and it's going to say, oh, your subscription's canceled. Like you don't have a subscription anymore. And if you're like, okay, well, I just logged in to play. Obviously the 2-hour rule applies here. I'm going to pay $15. Here we go. Another month. And you just keep to go, and that you will, I promise you'll save money in the end, because on that one day that you log in and you've been unsubbed for like 9 days or something, right? You missed a week or something. You've saved all that money.
That's true. That's true.
And you're right. They make it so easy to resub.
Yeah. Well, obviously they want your money. And, $15 a month MMO in 2023 is a bit of a tough business case. So
it is a tough business case. So, all right. Well, so you're playing and you're enjoying it. And I'll say, I know other people that have played that have gotten back into it. I'm happy for you. I would say that's good. I do not plan on coming back prior to the what do they call them? They always have like a pre-patch. Yeah. I do not plan on coming back any earlier than the pre-patch for the next expansion.
That's fair. Okay. Did you see what they're doing for the pre-order of the next expansion?
No.
If you get the Epic edition, the expensive edition, it comes with the 30 days of game time like it always does. And it comes with 3 days early access to the expansion. Yeah.
That used to be a big deal to me. I don't know that it is anymore.
It's less of a deal, and I'm certainly not going to pay for something like a Forza or something, but something like a WoW and they said that it wasn't going to let you like get, start doing Mythic Plus or anything like that. It wasn't going to kind of like give you a head start on any of that stuff, but it would give you a head start on leveling,
getting to max level.
Yeah. So you can kind of hit the ground. So like say it comes out on like a, Saturday or whatever, right? Or Sunday, Saturday, I guess. So your 3 days would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? And then the game comes out on Tuesday, just, I don't know, hypothetically, where reset typically is. So then you could theoretically be at max level the day the game actually comes out. And then you could start doing kind of the high level, the end game kind of content with like the raids and dungeons and stuff. Not raids, but the dungeons at least. Like right away, like hit the ground running. Like, I don't know. There's something that's a little bit appealing to me about that. But
yeah, no, that just stresses me out. Like I didn't race to max level in Dragonflight. I didn't even start playing the day it came out. Like I waited a month. Mm-hmm. So I'm not there. I'm not there. I mean, listen, if that is the level that comes with 30 days free game time,
it is.
Like,
yeah.
Do the lower ones come with 30 days?
No, they don't.
Okay, so like, is it essentially free to get that level?
Yeah, I think maybe the net cost is like $5, and you get a couple extra mounts and things. Like you get a couple of extra like cosmetic things, plus the 30 days, plus the 3 days early, plus whatever. So
in that case, I'd probably grab it anyway, because I'm going to buy those 30 days. So they're essentially, it's essentially a wash. And I'll pay $5 for cosmetics. Whatever. Fine.
Yeah, sure. The other interesting thing about those pre-orders, which doesn't really help either of us, but just for anyone out there that, is really jonesing to get back into WoW, the pre-orders and maybe even the expansion for the War Within, like the next expansion of World of Warcraft, comes with Dragonflight. So like you can pre-order the next expansion now and get access to the current expansion today.
That's new, right?
Yeah, they don't usually do that.
They've normally done like where you get the one before, like in this case, you would get Shadowlands for free.
Right. Yes, I don't know what they do. Sometimes they'll bring you current to kind of N-1 kind of a thing. But this is, you could play the current content right now based on just buying the expansion for the next one. So then you'd be good to go. I mean, obviously there's no subscription, et cetera, but yes, they're giving you that.
They continue to lower the barrier of entry.
Well, it makes sense.
It does.
Oh, you also get beta access if you have the highest tier, which doesn't really excite me at all because beta progress doesn't carry over, so it's kind of not useful.
You know who it does matter to, Chris?
Who?
World First racers.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do care.
Wasn't
a lot.
that a transition?
That was a great transition.
Killing it today with the transitions. No, I mean I bring it up just because Race to World First is going on right now. Have you been watching it at all?
I've watched a few, I don't know, probably a total of 2 hours of it, maybe, and had it on the background mostly while I was playing WoW, actually. But I can't say that I'm following what's going on particularly. I kind of look at the little leaderboards and see oh, Team Liquid is at the top right now, or oh, it was whoever Limit was up there or something. I don't know. You just kind of see the leaderboards, but honestly, half the time that I tune into them, they're not playing. It's just people sitting on a couch talking.
Oh, then I don't know what time you're watching. I mean, I've been watching Maximum and Liquid for days, so I don't know. I wouldn't say I've been following so much. I really followed the first Dragonflight one. I followed that pretty closely. With the progression on Raz and stuff like that. So that one I was watching pretty closely. The second one I didn't watch at all. The second Dragonflight expansion or raid I didn't watch at all. And this one I've been keeping my eye on. I would say I've been keeping eyes on the leaderboards. I've been watching. I probably watched 5 or so hours of the streams. But the reason I bring it up, I mean, the point I want to really bring up is it has been crazy on the wall that they have hit. And it's just a little commentary. I mean, it really doesn't matter in the end. But they are on this, I don't know if you've noticed, but they are on the second to last boss. Mm-hmm. Boss 8 of 9. And the leading guilds have more than 300 pulls each, which is unheard of for the second to last boss. Wow.
Yeah, because they get those kinds of numbers on the last boss, right? They get that
on the last boss.
Yeah.
Yes. Broodkeeper. Do you remember the raid that we did, or the first raid in Dragonflight?
With the
Broodkeeper.
eggs. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, with eggs. That took them 80 pulls or so.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, and then Raz took a couple hundred. Right. That's normal. The last boss. This boss has taken each of two Liquid and Echo. Both of them are right around the 25% mark, and 25% of the boss's health left, and both of them. I mean, Liquid's over 350 pulls, but they're over 300 pulls. They are. I think they're a little burnt out on this boss.
Yeah, I mean that'll happen, right? Just imagine pulling the same boss essentially for a week straight. That's a lot.
The other thing that makes it really hard to watch is, they, for the first 4 days or whatever, they didn't even raid. And it's just a really weird part of Race to World First. On the first 4 days of Race to World First is watching them just watching them absolutely trounce on heroic and doing mythic plus dungeons,
right?
Because they're just grinding for gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's just really not fun to watch. I just be it doesn't matter, this isn't the race, why are we watching? It makes for a very weird viewing experience. I really did wish that the Race to World First was a truly Blizzard sanctioned thing, because it's not, right? It's not a Blizzard thing. They don't sponsor it. They don't kind of do anything for it. The people that are practicing for it or learning the bosses are doing it because they get into the beta or they're getting into the testing. They're doing it on the test realm, right? They're not this isn't an officially sanctioned event. And I kind of wish it was, in a way, somehow, some way, an officially sanctioned event, because there are certain elements of it that make it just really difficult to watch.
Yeah, I've always found it interesting because Blizzard does sponsor the MDI, the Mythic Dungeon Invitational.
Yeah.
And like they do produce a thing for that. And I know that they're aware of the Race for World First because, you know, and I think they treat it as if it's just part of the game, but really it's, you know, only these few, whatever, a dozen guilds that are like teams, I should say, even they're barely guilds, right? They're practically pro teams that are pushing on this content. And so Blizzard's obviously aware of the people that are doing this, and they are tuning as it goes. Like there was a time last week where they hit a bug where something was happening where like they were double taking damage kind of a thing. So it was completely impossible for them to do it.
Yep.
And so at that point they all just like drop back down to doing Mythic Plus just to try to get more gear or whatever. But at the same time, you know that like somebody from Blizzard was you know, tuning and running it through whatever tests they have and like trying it and making sure it worked and simming it and whatever. And then they released a hotfix to fix it so they could keep going. And I would assume that somebody at Blizzard probably, you know, put a tweet out or something that said, hey, we're good now. Like somehow these people figured this out. So it's not like that Blizzard like is unaware that this is happening. They're just not as hands-on as they could or maybe should be.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to change it, but I just wish they were more. I wish they were more hands-on.
I just wonder what it would do though, because like for the Mythic Dungeon thing, you get like super powered characters, right? You get characters that aren't necessarily your characters because they put you on a special realm and they put you in special, right. Like, you know, you can get whatever character you want kind of like with max gear, and it's more about the like strategies that you do and more about the like the gameplay more so than the gear stuff. And like here there's a little bit of like what is your strategy for gearing your people and what's your composition to the people you bring to the raid, and like, you know, I mean, sure, you could still say that strategy piece was important if they gave you everything, but like the gathering of the gear, I feel like is part of the race, and like how you trade off the risk and reward of like, should we do a couple more dungeons or should we just try to jump right into it? Like, you know, there's a little bit of strategy and back and forth to that if you look at it from that perspective, I think makes it a little bit more exciting on the Race to World First compared to something like MDI where it's just a mechanical, and also an MDI, like they know these dungeons, right? They've done them and practiced them a bunch and they have qualifiers and the whole bit. This is more of a thing of like, it's like the game designers versus the players, where the, you know, players have to figure out the puzzle box that the game designers create, and they have to, you know, figure that out and test their, not only their gameplay skills, but also their kind of like problem solving skills in the raid. So it's a little different than MDI.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't know. So it's for someone else to figure out. More hands-on somehow, some way. But your point, I understand your point. Well, okay. I mean, let us know. 12. What did you say? 12 days left on your sub?
Yeah, it's something like that. I think it's 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You could cancel it and just, you know, if you log in on that 13th day. Yeah. Okay. If you log in on that 13th day, just push that resub button.
Yeah. No, it's the reason I know how many days it is because when you unsubscribe, it counts down the days in the client, and then they start turning yellow, and then I think in the last like 3 days they turn red. So like they let you know that you are about to not be able to play, because I've done this before. So yes, they let you know.
Did you know you can buy a WoW token without having a subscription with gold?
Did know that, but can't you just like log on to a character like in trial mode or whatever and then do it that way?
No, so you boot up the game, you start the game, and then you can get, without a subscription, you can get as far as the character select screen.
Right, yes.
And on the character select screen, if a single character has enough to buy a WoW token with gold, there's like a menu option for it.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, I don't know if you have enough gold to buy a WoW. Not that it matters.
I probably do have enough gold to buy a WoW token, but honestly, the money is worth less than the giant amount of gold that I have, like, because gold takes time to get, and
yes,
money takes work time to get, which is more reliable. You can
buy gold, not that you need it.
I mean, you can buy WoW tokens and can sell them for gold, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, that's a terrible exchange rate.
Well, I mean, it's the opposite of the other one. So anyway, let us know. 12 days. I'm interested, and I'll see you in game in the pre-patch in 2024.
Great. Looking forward to it. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to play a game that is new to me. It's not a new game, but it's a game that was new to me because I went to a little like LAN get-together, LAN party kind of a thing, and we decided to play a new game, which is V Rising. Have you heard of this game, Jason?
Yeah, I've watched I don't know, a couple hours of someone play it on Twitch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically like a vampire survival crafting game, I guess I'll call it, but like kind of not. I don't know.
Yeah, there are a lot of I would describe it as a survival crafting game, but there are a lot of elements that are more than survival crafting. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So the closest comparison that we could come up with, the group that I was playing with, it was Valheim, which I think I played about 2 days, like 2 sessions worth of Valheim, and then didn't really get into it any further than that. But V Rising, we played a whole bunch of it over the weekend, and people are still continuing to play it now, and I'll probably go back to it a little bit. But it's been really fun. It's, like I said, a vampire survival crafting game with some interesting mechanics. So you have like, your vampires. So like you can't go out in the daytime or else you get hurt. And you can build a little like castle for yourself, which is like, a very gothic looking, well, a vampire house basically. And it has servers and online co-op and PvE and PvP if you want it, although we don't. We have our server set to, friends only and PvE. But the big thing that they have is bosses. They have a ton of bosses in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's the comparison to Valheim, I would guess, in terms of like progression is there's bosses, but Valheim has like 4 bosses maybe.
Yeah.
And V Rising has hundreds? I don't know how many.
Probably at least 30. I don't know about hundreds, but they have a lot.
All right. A lot.
Comparatively. I mean, like, 5 versus 30, it's, 6 times bigger.
In V Rising, is it tied to progression the same?
Oh,
like
yeah.
You have to do one after the other, or you can kind of choose which one you want to do next, or...
So they do this thing where they incentivize you based on what you want to be able to do. So like imagine like a tech tree, like a research tech tree kind of a thing. But in order to unlock any kind of research, it's not like, Factorio, just build enough research things and click the button and you've got, put these resources in a thing and you get the next tier of whatever. This is different. This is go kill this boss. And then you can unlock, making glass out of quartz, or you can unlock, having a wolf form, like a travel form or whatever. So like all of the game mechanics are locked behind defeating these bosses, which are all named and they all have their own unique, almost like World of Warcraft mechanics to the boss fights, which is really cool.
Interesting.
So this is like a third person top down action RPG. It looks a lot like Diablo from the surface, but it's not as like, looter based kind of a game. It's not like that. It's more survival crafty than that. So you're not just getting like hordes of enemies. It's you actually like fight, 2 or 3 guys at a time, and you actually have to worry about your health. So it's actually really fun.
I was going to say, it sounded like you liked it.
Yeah, I actually did. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting. I did not expect to like this game. I was like, oh, everybody's playing this game. I guess I'll play it, whatever. And then it was actually really fun to kind of have something where we could all work together on like building the base, but also it would be like, oh, we've built the base out as much as we can, but we want to make the next kind of armor or whatever. And the only way you can do that is you get this building by beating a boss. So we'd be like, okay, guys, let's, the next time it's nighttime, because we're vampires, right? Let's go out and try to find this boss and kill them. And we had many bosses where we had to take many chances many tries to get it, to get them down.
What's the death mechanic? Like what happens when you die?
When you die, you drop all of your stuff. So like all the stuff that's in your like personal inventory goes into like a little like backpack on the ground, basically, which stays in the world and is persistent for I don't know how long, but seems like at least probably like half an hour, maybe an hour, or maybe until you log out. I'm not really sure what the mechanic is, but anyway, the point is your stuff sits on the ground in this little backpack thing, and you can run back to where that is dropped, and you can go pick all your stuff back up. But the cool thing about that is you drop all your stuff except for your weapons and like armor and stuff. So you are ready to go and fight immediately when you respawn. So we've taken to, there's been a few times where we've had a group of 4 people and, somebody has died and then they can respawn and then run back to the fight. And then they can, you can cheese it a little bit by trading off a little bit. So
Gotcha.
we've tried that a few times and been successful once or twice, but generally speaking, when the person that's coming back is about 3 steps away from getting back to engage the boss, the one person that was left dies, and then you all have to start over again anyway. And
yeah.
So
you said we had to find the boss. What does that mean?
They have like a tracking system. You're a vampire, so you can smell blood or whatever. I don't know. So you basically pick a boss that you want to target, and it gives you a general compass direction of where they are related to where you are. Or I don't know if it's in relation to where you are or if it's in relation to the overall map. But you kind of get a general compass direction, and it says like very far away, or it says like, close or imminent, if you're like right on top of them. And then also periodically your character gets this weird, like red, like cyclone, like almost like a reverse tornado, of red lines that come towards your character. Which is hard to figure out at first because you were kind of expecting it to be like an arrow, but it's instead it's like you smelling their blood, like you are catching wind of the thing you're hunting. So like the arrow points towards you, but you kind of have to like reverse it in your head and be like, it came from that direction. Where did it come
from? Yeah. Okay.
So it gets a little bit weird, but you can track them that way. And then the problem is it's like as the crow flies. So if they're inside of a cave and like you're outside of the cave and the cave has one entrance, you kind of have to figure out that like, oh, I have to go around this mountain so I can get into this cave so I can go find that boss guy.
Gotcha.
So it's it's pretty good though. Like it's effective, and you can translate it nicely. And find. We never had a problem really where we were like, oh, I can't find this person.
Do you think the group will continue to play this?
I think so. As we speak, they are playing right now.
Because it's on sale.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's also on sale on Humble, which is where I got it, for like $12. Okay. I think you could get $12 worth of enjoyment out of this game before people either lose interest or we beat it.
Have you all been playing together? Did you build your own base? How did it work for you?
So our group, we had 4 people. I mean, we were all physically in the same room for most of it. And then we actually had a 5th person who's actually hosting the server. So thank you. Who has been popping in every once in a while, but he's in a different time zone in a different place. But we built we started off with one base that was really bad because we built a like outdoor like base with wooden walls, which is not great because it doesn't get ceilings and you're vampires. So like you have to stay out of the sun. If you build something with stone walls, it gets a ceiling. So we built one kind of mega base, or I don't know, one big base that we've all been kind of sharing, and it's sort of centrally located in the map, at least for now, for what we're going after. And then we've been sharing everything, and it's a survival crafting game, right? It's similar to how you'd play a Minecraft or how you'd play whatever. So we've got cabinets all over the place, and people complaining about the organization of the cabinets, and and we've got crafting machines that you put stuff into, and it just they chug away on the crafting stuff and all of that. But we've been playing as one group and trying to kind of go together to fight the bosses, because when you beat a boss, you have to interact with them in order to get their power, basically, to get whatever the power is. So like if somebody else builds whatever building that you can get from defeating that boss, you can use it, but you can't build that building if it doesn't already exist in your base. So
can you beat a boss more than once? Like what if I was offline?
Yeah, they respawn, and then theoretically you get stronger as by beating them and getting whatever you get. So it should be easier the next time you go back to them to beat them. So you or your friends can kind of, all go together again and be like, oh yeah, we learned the strategy on this. And that's the thing that I did want to point out was the strategy with the bosses.
Do you need a raid caller?
Almost. So we actually had there's a boss. So I'll tell just this one little story about the boss. We had a boss that we could not figure out what we were doing wrong. We were fighting this guy, and like all these skeletons kept spawning, and it was a problem, and like they kept overwhelming us, and we didn't know what was going on. Couldn't figure it out. We tried it, 10 times. And then finally, somebody in our group kind of researched it, right? They looked up the boss, and they found out, they said, oh, when he has this shield, he has this, mechanic where he puts up a shield, and if you attack him during the shield, every hit that hits him during the shield spawns another skeleton. So if he puts up the shield and you don't hit him, you don't spawn any skeletons, and then it becomes a super chill fight. So we did that, and we beat the guy like first try. That kind of mechanic. There's a lot of like movement mechanics too, where you'll get AoE stuff that you have to get out of, or targeted, like a charge or something like that. You got to dodge. Like, it's very MMO like in that regard, and kind of like the boss fights. And they put them usually they put them close to some kind of like arena where you can, lay out the mechanics and stuff. So it's not like you're in the open world trying to fight these bosses. They kind of have their own spot, similar to an MMO. And so paying attention to the mechanics, we didn't figure it out for the first, 10 bosses or whatever, but now we're very sensitive to what should we do. Like, are there any things that make this harder for ourselves? Like, should we be paying extra attention to, this or the other thing?
That's cool. I like that.
So it's not quite raid callers. You're not really doing a pull timer, but like,
no, but that's, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
A little bit of strategy. It's more strategy, I would say, than something like a Valheim, where it was kind of like, you kind of just bang on this guy for a little while, and then eventually he'll die, and you got to dodge a little bit, and you got to, be a little clever, but it's not to the same degree of I guess, mechanics that this game has.
This was one of those games that came out like it was a vampire game when like all of those vampire games were coming out. I can't name the other ones. I don't
talked
remember,
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the episodes of P&A. We talked about like all of the vampire games. We were like, what is up with vampires?
Yeah. It might've been like last Halloween.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember when this game came out, but during that time there were a bunch of vampire games, and this kind of just got swept up in there, and I was seeing people play it, but I was just like, I'm not playing a vampire game. But now that it's kind of separated from the pack a little bit, and you've played it and you've kind of sold it here, it seems very interesting to me.
Well, we have 10 slots on the server, and we've only got 5 people that have been playing so far, so you're more than welcome.
I may. Maybe over the weekend. Okay, Chris, what else have you been playing?
Yeah, I guess I've been the one of us that's had a little bit of free time lately.
That had any time at all this last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and 'tis the season for games to come out and all of this stuff. This is just a really quick hit, little brief thing. The Super Mario RPG remake for the Switch came out last week. And I had pre-ordered it, when I got Super Mario Wonder. I did that little game voucher thing where you get the 2 games. And this was the second one, and it just came out last week. I've played an hour and a half of Super Mario RPG, which used to be called Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. And it is pretty much exactly what I expected, although it's very easy, I'll say. So far. But then one of the reviews I read was like, it's a very easy RPG, which is fine. Like, I'm not really complaining, but it is an easy RPG.
Yeah. All right. I will say I have been watching a couple clips and reviews and whatnot of it, and the game. Oh man, it is. I don't know why, but it's very I don't know if it's the graphics or like the way things move or the way things are all put together, but it's like super enticing to me, and I don't know why.
Yeah, it's they preserved the like isometric, like 3D but 2D kind of look of the original games. Like, all they did was give it like a high res models. Like it's the same screens and the same like paths and all that stuff, which are, like I said, isometric. So you move in 2 dimensions, like when they're drawing it, but it looks like you're moving in 3 dimensions, which is a trick that they did on the Super Nintendo, because this game came out on the Super Nintendo. But it is very fun. And it's got like a nice RPG story. This was the team up of Nintendo, obviously, and Square, the Squaresoft at the time, right? The people that make Final Fantasy. So this was an RPG, like a JRPG that was made for the West, I guess I would say. And it has all of the like turn-based JRPG elements and stuff, but it also has like Mario, and like you move around and you control Mario and you like jump, and it's kind of like Paper Mario, let you run around and jump and do stuff. Paper Mario was the spiritual successor to this game. So like this game came first and then Paper Mario.
Yeah. It gives me crazy Paper Mario vibes.
Yeah. I think one of the stories that I read was like Paper Mario was made because they couldn't do a sequel to Super Mario RPG. Like Square wouldn't kind of get on board with it. So they went to a different company and they made Paper Mario, but in the same general formula.
Gotcha.
So if you like Paper Mario, which I think you said you did, then you probably would like this one.
I know. I think that's why it's calling my name, but I'm not going to break out the Switch. If I want to play a single player game, I'm going to play something else. But you've got the ability to stream to Discord now, and I will say, when the day comes, I'll be watching.
Okay. I've already got one of the 7 stars, which you get in the first hour of play. So, no big deal there, but I'll be sure not to finish it without you.
Okay.
On the subject of games and the next games to play, I have a little bit of a conundrum that I might need some advice for.
Okay.
So I'm about to finish God of War Ragnarok. I promise. I'm about to finish it.
You sure? Because you've been saying that for like the last 3 episodes.
I know, but this Thanksgiving weekend, I'm going to finish that game, at least the main story of that game. I'm going to finish that game. I promise. Next episode, I will be able to say that I finished God of War Ragnarok. It will happen.
Okay.
And when that happens, I need to think of it. Well, I don't need to, but I would like to come up with a new single player game to kind of have to jump into on my own. And I'm between 2 games right now.
Well, do you have any other unfinished single player games?
Maybe. I've got Super Mario RPG.
No, I mean, you were working on Final Fantasy VII, right?
Oh yeah, I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yep.
That's done. All right.
Yep, check that one. So really, what this really comes down to is I'm looking for another PS5 game. If I'm really boiling it down, because I do have Sea of Stars, which is actually pretty similar to Super Mario RPG, in terms of gameplay. But I have Sea of Stars on PC/Steam Deck, but I'm kind of holding that one until I go on a trip with a big Steam Deck presence, which is I think coming up in January. We'll see. So that's kind of on my list there. And then I've got Super Mario RPG on the Switch. I'm kind of thinking what comes next for the PS5.
Okay. All right. And I think that the 2 options are pretty obvious, right?
For me, they are. So for me, the 2 options are Spider-Man 2 that just came out, 3 weeks ago or whatever, which I really enjoyed the first Spider-Man game, and Miles Morales. So they were great. Or Final Fantasy 16, which came out early in the summer and is currently on Black Friday sales for $40.
Oh, wow. All right. That's okay. Gosh, another one. Dang it.
A wrinkle.
I mean, I know which one I'd pick, but I didn't play the first Spider-Man.
Right. Yes. I mean, I like the Spider-Man story and like the kind of comic book story that it is. And I like the gameplay and like the, the superhero aspect to it and all of that stuff. A lot. But that game is full price and Final Fantasy 16 is on sale, and I would like to play 16 at some point. So it's like, is this the perfect opportunity and just wait a little on the Spider-Man?
Well, how long is 16?
Oh, I don't know. 100 hours?
Do you think it's really that long?
I don't know. I'm going to look it up right now.
So am I. I see main story as 36 and main plus sides as 57.5.
Okay. All right. 36. So for me, probably like 40 to 45.
Yeah, that's about what I would say too.
And Spider-Man is 18 hours main story, 27.5 hours completionist.
I'd play Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing is like, I could probably finish Spider-Man this weekend.
I was going to say, you could probably finish over the holiday. I mean, the thing is, here's where I would go. Like 22-ish hours, 20 to 30 hours, right? For Spider-Man.
Sure.
Probably you 20, will finish that by the end of 2023.
That is definitely true. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know, that just kind of fits more nicely to me. That's where I would go with this. Man, what a shame. Like we are you and I think, as we get older, continue to avoid these large commitment games.
I know it is really too bad because I would like to try 16 because it's got that new action combat style that I'm usually really bad at, and I feel like it would be a good foray into that genre and just to try it because I've always shied away from those kinds of like really mechanics heavy fighting games action games I guess because of those like really tight mechanics. And it's like Final Fantasy 16 has a whole bunch of like affordances that make it a little easier for people that were expecting a Final Fantasy game, not Devil May Cry. And like that's that appeals to me, right? That's what I want, is I want the option to turn, to kind of turn down the difficulty a little. We talked about this on the show before, but like to put on those things that are like auto counter, like if I need it, like, or whatever, to be able to kind of dial that in.
Right.
And not be on the like, oh, if you're not a super hardcore gamer, then you shouldn't even touch this game. Like that's not where I am at this point in my life.
No, I mean, it was fun. I played that demo and I messed around with what kind of extras aids or assistances I had. It was great. I mean, it was a great kind of balance and it was a lot of fun to experiment and the fighting, to me, I really enjoyed the fighting. I didn't think it went far enough. I didn't think I got enough of it, but it was a demo. I thought it was a pretty good intro. So no, I agree. I think it's a really, I've never played a different Final Fantasy before, but I enjoyed the time I spent with it, particularly because of the combat. But if you're looking for what your next game is, if it were me looking at the times that it took to complete things, and I was in your position where I had finished Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales and really enjoyed it, the hype is still kind of maybe a little bit there for Spider-Man. Like you're still kind of within the time period. All those things put together, that's the way I would lean.
I know, that's where I am too. Like that's what I've been telling myself, but then I was like, man, this Final Fantasy is on super sale. Like, it's not super sale, but it's a pretty good sale for a Final Fantasy game, because it'll
go on sale again.
It probably will. You're right. But it took a long time for 7 to go on sale, but now kind of the seal's been broken on 16, so I'm assuming it will come. Well, that's an option too.
You got that nice CD drive?
I do. I have the disc drive. You're right. Yep. Mm-hmm. The other complicating factor on the Final Fantasy front is I just finished 7 Remake, like I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago, and then Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which is the next chapter in the 7 kind of world, is coming in February, like at the end of February, beginning of March. So there will be Final Fantasy to play, and I will probably get that game pretty much on launch coming up here in end of February. So I don't want to like burn myself out on Final Fantasies either, which is why I'm also leaning in the Spider-Man direction. But I don't know, the price difference was what gave me pause.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think the Final Fantasy 7. I don't know whether you're going to be as hardcore about it as you would be for 16. How long? I mean, it took you forever to beat the first one.
It did take like 2 years to beat the first Final Fantasy 7.
I mean, it was generally okay. Like you ended up finishing it.
I did. I enjoyed it. Like by the end of it, I want to see how that story continues and eventually ends. Like I'm committed to those characters, that world, having never played Final Fantasy 7, the first game. So I'm going to play the other Final Fantasy 7 Remake chapters.
Sure, but you got to let Rebirth let it take 2 years, because you got to make sure that you kind of start it now-ish and finish it when the next one's coming out.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I got to make that one last until 26 or 27. Like,
there you go.
When the next one comes. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for participating in this therapy session. I think
I get it. I get I mean, heck, I get it. I get it.
So I don't know. By the next time we talk, I might have bought and beaten Spider-Man. Who knows? Maybe you should. You better have beaten Ragnarok by then, though. That is literally the only reason I have not gotten Spider-Man yet, is because I haven't beaten Ragnarok, and I'm telling myself like I'm not allowed to do that until I finish Ragnarok, because I just don't need it. Like I can't. Yeah, you're applying the rules of Kanban very well. Proud of you. Yeah, my in-flight column is full. That was a nerd joke. All right, if you got that joke, let us know. Perfect. I mean, yes. Yeah. And you can let us know if you got that joke and make similar jokes by joining our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com. If you want to see our Jira or read our show notes, there's no Jira. You can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com. If you're enjoying this show, I'm sorry. And you can share it with others that might enjoy it as well. Thanks. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Chris, I have a email sitting in my inbox that I can't bring myself to delete. Can you guess what it is? I think I can, because I have the same email.
It is in big bold letters, claim 7 days free Omega.
Which, of course, means EVE Online.
There's a, it's not an expansion. It's like a major update, I guess you would call it, because it's free, right? It's just included.
They call them expansions, but they're always free.
Yeah. Did you see that it includes a first-person shooter?
No. What?
Yeah. There's do you remember when EVE used to develop a parallel game that worked with EVE that was a first-person shooter?
Yes.
I can't remember what that game was called, but apparently they introduced elements of that first person shooter into EVE with this expansion.
Wow. Okay.
So you can go into first person shooter mode on a planet or something. I don't know how it works. I don't know if I'm this is the post show, guys. None of this is verified or fact checked or anything, but I'm just kind of spewing what things that I've seen. I'm so tempted to get back into EVE right now, particularly just take that little hit, just that 7 days.
Just try it and see what happens,
Yeah. Yeah. The first week's free.
That's how they get you. They also have all of their Omega time, the pay for it time is on sale 20% off right now.
It's on sale and you can buy skill points now. You
can catch up whenever you want.
It's so much easier to catch up now. And it's just, it's tough. They've apparently revamped the new player experience again, which is very enticing to me. I mean, I don't know, man. It's getting really, really hard to say no.
Do you want me to talk you out of it? I mean, I probably can.
I want to know, have you looked into the 7 days free Omega at all?
I have not looked into the specifics of it yet.
I am now reading the email and have noticed that it expired yesterday as we're recording this.
Oh, you were saved by your own procrastination.
I have been. And you know what? I'm okay with that. But the Omega itself is also still 20% off. So Omega being the premium subscription. I mean, that's all it means, right? It's an EVE subscription, but you can get a 1 month. Oh, can you not just buy 1 month of Omega time?
No, you can. It costs normally $20 a month, but $16 on sale right now.
No, is it really $20 a month now?
Well, to buy a single month at a time. It goes down a lot when you buy multiple months.
Oh, yeah. 3 months is $47, but right now is $38.
It's $40, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you can go for the 2 years and for $200, $216 right there.
I can't do it. I
would not recommend committing 2 years of EVE. That would just be a bad idea.
It's this game, man. It's this game that just keeps pulling me back in.
I am so out of touch with it, but every time that I play it, I do enjoy it for a little while. I want to get out there, do some mining some asteroids, making some runs, watching out for some pirates, the whole bit.
I love it. I mean, it's just the one thing I like about EVE, and I think I've said this before, is that I enjoy a game as I'm learning the game. I love learning the systems and the mechanics and how it all works and all of that. And I feel I've put probably, I don't know, maybe 150 hours into EVE. Would that be generally probably right?
Probably,
and I feel like I
that,
haven't even scratched the surface. Not even close.
I mean, until you're writing your own API-driven spreadsheets, are you really playing EVE?
I don't know.